friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be making broth for the 3 Rivers Pantry challenge. I know I'm kind of doing it in reverse. I'm actually, we're eating down our freezers, and we're eating out of our pantries, but we do that all the time. But I am taking like bones and tomatoes and stuff out of my freezers and processing them for this pantry challenge. And today I have some beef bones that I'm going to roast. I find that if I roast my bones first and then make the broth, the broth tastes a lot better to me. Some people say that doesn't make a difference. It doesn't taste like a difference to them, but I taste the difference. So that's the way I'm going to do it. I have some beef bones here, and I'm doing one thing a little different too. I'll show you what I do as soon as I get them. Okay, so I have my oven coming up to temp, and I have my bones on the baking sheet. And as you can see, I've taken a little bit of this tomato paste and I've put it over the edges, and we're gonna see how this goes, if this enhances the flavor or not. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna put it in a 425-degree oven for about 45 minutes. Okay, I've got my bones in the oven, and we'll be back in about 45 minutes to see what happened. And hopefully it adds to the flavor. Okay, so my bones are about ready to come out of the oven. So I took out some carrots, a garlic, some onions, and then some celery I had canned because I don't have any fresh celery. So that's what I'm going to use. That's about, I would say, probably about 2, 4, 6, 8 maybe stalks of celery. About 2 stalks in each, because these are kind of on the small side. Yeah, so that's what I have. And this is the stage of my carrots that I keep in the fridge. They're starting to sprout with those little hairs, but they're keeping really well. They're nice and firm. They're not squishy at all. But that's what we have left. Out of the 2 big bags that we have, I would say this is probably about 3/4 of the way full. Okay, so here the bones are out of the oven. And we're going to get them into the crock pot with the veggies. Okay, so now to build my broth, I'm putting in my bones and the grease that came off of them. I'm gonna pour that in a container, put it in my fridge, and we are gonna use that for frying up, you know, veggies, whatever. So in goes all my bones. The last one here, filled it up pretty good. The last bone. And I did let them cool just a little bit, So I'm putting in my carrots. I did peel them, cut off the tops and bottoms. I'm not doing that for anything else, like my onions and stuff. I'm using all the skins, everything's going in, all the skins. I just cut off the little bottom portion of them. Sometimes I leave it on. If it looks kind of dirty, I will take it off. I smashed some garlic. I just smashed it. I didn't even peel it, none of that. I just left all the peels on. And then my celery, I'm just putting in my celery, water, and all. That's gonna help with my water. So in goes my celery. It's getting kind of full, but that's okay. Get the Okay, so I got in all my celery, and I'll bring you up so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here it is. Everything is in there. So you can see it. The onions, the garlic, everything is in there. And I also had some scraps that I keep in my freezer, mostly onion skins. I'm gonna throw that in there as well. And this is the oil or grease or whatever off of the bones. I'm gonna pour that in another container, store it in my fridge, and I'll use it like tallow, frying up different things. Okay, so now that I've got all my veggies and everything in, I'm just adding in water. I would ideally like to cover this, but this is so high up. I'm gonna wait till it cooks down a little bit before I cover it completely with water. So in about 20 minutes, half an hour or so, I'll come back and top it off with water. But I am gonna put a couple of seasonings in here. I use a bay leaf onion salt, not onion salt because I don't even buy onion salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and my no salt seasonings. I'll just sprinkle a little bit of that in. There it is, all my seasonings in. I've got some turmeric in there and some other spices, some salt, some bay leaves, and I'm gonna turn it on to low, and we are gonna let this go. I'm gonna let it go for 24 hours, so I'll bring you back when I'm ready to show you like the finished product before I start cutting it up. Okay, so I poured out the drippings from the bones, and that's what's in here. I put it in my fridge, but I just scraped up the little drops or drippings from the silpat, and this is what I got. What am I gonna do with this? Yeah, I'm gonna put it in my broth for flavor. I forgot to mention, just add a little bit of apple cider vinegar into your broth. I already added mine in. I did a couple of capfuls, like a teaspoon or so. It just helps to bring out everything you want out of those bones. So I added a little bit in there to help enhance that. Okay, so it is the next day, and this is what my broth is looking like. And I can just see from doing this that there's a lot of fat, oil, whatever you want to call it, on the top of this. So what I am going to do to separate that in the easiest way I can possibly do, because I don't have a fat separator, I still have it on low. I'm going to let it cool off just a little bit. Okay, so I let my broth cool down because I want to strain it. I'm going to take all of this. I have a measuring container down there, my biggest one I have, and a semi-fine mesh strainer. And I'm going to just strain the broth, get out all the solids, and I will strain it a second time. And what I'm going to have to do, because I see a lot of fat on the top of this from the bones, I'm actually going to put it back in my crock pot, put it in the fridge overnight, and once it solidifies, I'll take the fat off the top, heat it up again in my crock pot, and then put it in my jars. That's what I'm going to do. So right now I'm just going to strain it all. I'm not even going to clean up my crock pot because I'm going to warm it back up in the crock pot. So yeah. Okay, so last night plans changed. Here is my broth that I strained from the bones and the veggies and stuff. As you can see, there is a fat. Well, I think this is more grease than fat on the top. Whether you have a distinction of that, I don't know. But this is a 2.5 quart stock like saucepan, and it isn't even full. That's how much liquid I got off of my bones. It was pretty well packed of bones and stuff. So what I decided to do is last night I put it back in with more water, and I'm going to let this go for 24 hours as well before I do anything to it. So as you can see, it cooked down quite a bit. The bones and the veggies, well, not the bones, but the veggies and stuff cooked down quite a bit. But as you can see, once again, there's a lot of oil at the top of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this fat off of here. And it's easy to do it. As you can see, it is gelled. My broth is gelled, so that's nice to see. So I'm just going to scrape all this off here and leave my broth in here. I'll put this back in the fridge, and then once this pot is finished going, I will add the two together, and then excuse me, got a frog in my throat, and then I will warm everything up and put it into my jar. The grease I am going to save in this, just a regular ramekin, and put it in my fridge and use it for frying up whatever meats, veggies, maybe season some rice with it. But I'm just going to continue pulling this off the top, and I'm going to put it all in here and put it in my fridge to use. So I got most of the fat layer off. There's a few bits in here, bits and pieces, but I'm not too concerned about that. It's not a lot. And this ramekin is jam-packed full. I even pressed it down, and it's full of that fat that came off of there. So once the next batch is done, I'll add it to this batch, and we'll heat it all up and get it jarred up. It's a thing of beauty right there. To have your broth gel like that, that's what you want. Okay, so my second batch did not set as stiff as the first one. As you can see, it's not really, I mean, it's a little thicker than water consistency, but it's not as thick as this batch. So this is the first batch. Of course, I'm going to add the two together. And we are going to heat this up so I can go ahead and jar this up. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll heat it in here. And I'm hoping to get at least 8 pints out of this. We'll see how it goes. And of course, this is today's weather update. It's already snowing. There's about, I don't know, maybe like 1/4 of an inch already down. It is freezing out here. And yeah, I'm going back in the house where it's a lot warmer. Okay, so I brought my broth up to temp. It's all liquefied now. And I have my jars here. I've started to fill some. Cleaned and sanitized. I have my electric canner. It's a Power Pressure Canner XL. And the water is warm. I don't know if you can tell that or not. It's set to the right depth. So all I'm doing now is filling up my jars with my broth. See if I can do this one-handed without spilling a whole pile of stuff. And of course, I'm going to make sure the rims are really, really clean because this does still have a bit of, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of fat still left in it, which I'm fine with. That is good for you in moderation, like everything else. Just filling up my jars. I have my lids here just soaking in some warm water. Not hot, just warm. So I just took a moistened paper towel with vinegar on it, and I'm just wiping. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. I gotta hold it. I'm gonna hold it and wipe. Let me see if I can do it. Just wipe the rims. I don't want to move them off my little pot holder here. Working with a confined space here. See if I can get this done one-handed. But you get the gist. I'm wiping any residual broth off the rims before I put my lids and rings on. Okay, now that I've got my rims of my jars nice and clean, put on my lids, get them on, and then I'm just going to screw on my rings fingertip tight. That's basically it. See if I can do this. Just got them screwed on fingertip tight. And that's all it takes. And then into the canner. My last one goes into the canner. And I'm going to put the top on if I can find it. Yes, I do reuse my rings, but not my lids for pressure. Okay, so my top's going on. And I do have a little bit of vinegar in there to help with the hard water that we have. Locked it. Make sure my valve is in the right place. And then I'm going to just pressure can. And we're doing pints, so we want to do them for 20 minutes. So this is my water in between cycles. I see no siphoning out of the jars. You can see I just took them out and they are still bubbling away. And yeah, water is completely clear and it is at the same level as when I first put them in. So that's a good sign. So the broth is washed up, labeled, and ready to go into my cold room and added to my pantry. Yep, this worked out great. So that's what I'm adding to my pantry this week for the 3 Rivers Pantry Challenge. Doing it a little bit differently than I would normally do it, but it's working for me. So thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos. God bless, and remember, stay safe and keep prepping.